Suicide is a tough topic, but the Washington County Reach for Hope Suicide Prevention Coalition wants you to know that there is always hope. We are a caring community reaching out to provide compassion and hope for a community free of suicide. In the next half hour, we'll talk with community partners to identify risk factors, raise awareness, and discuss prevention strategies. Hello and welcome to another edition of Reach for Hope. I'm Melissa Anderson. You know, the mind, body, and soul concept is a way of understanding ourselves as a whole person. And this is how we interconnect with each other mentally, physically, and spiritually. This approach to overall wellness not only makes you feel and look better, but it impacts your overall thought process. Now, with us today to talk about this connection and how to tap into it are experts in this field. I'd like to welcome Amie, Ellis, and Sam Lutui of Premier Health and Wellness here in St. George. I'd like to say thank you for joining us on the show today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're glad to be here.
Yeah, first of all, Sam, I'd like to address the mind topic today because we're talking about suicide prevention. Please tell us how long Premier Health and Wellness got started and what you do.
Premier Health and Wellness is a product started by Dr. Sid Young, and it started out as Premier Psychological Counseling and Consulting, and it's been around for the last 4 years, and we rebranded and expanded, and we had our grand reopening earlier this year in April with Premier Health and Wellness. And so we've been around for about 4 years.
Awesome. And you obviously work there. Tell me briefly what you do.
My official title is the CMO of the company, but I also do what we call melody healing, of where I use the mechanics and dynamics of music to help deal with trauma, depression, anxiety, and all sorts of mental health issues.
I want to get into that more here in a minute, but we're talking about mental health as well as depression, anxiety, the things that we want to cope with every day that are really hard to deal with. And some statistics I've read is that 6.7% of all adults in the U.S. experience depression that can lead to a permanent disability and or even, death by suicide. Tell us about this type of clinical depression and what are some of the side effects of this?
You know, obviously depression affects people in different ways. You know, it almost immobilizes your ability to move forward and function in normal ways that you're used to. And so you're almost paralyzed in some ways. And so, for a lot of people, there's different causes of depression and affects them differently. But a lot of it sits right in the brain.
Yeah, so it kind of freezes your brain and puts you on hold for a while until you figure out how to deal with it. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Absolutely.
Today. Now, Amie,
I just wanted to add, I feel like it's becoming much more prevalent too. So I think it's a super important subject to talk about because as life gets harder, this becomes more of a thing. And so, yeah, we love to talk about solutions, which we're moving into.
Yeah, and I was gonna just say that you do the body part, the physical part about that, but talking about that brain, I think younger people's brains, teenagers and young adults probably have a harder time with that anxiety and depression these days, probably due to cell phones and social media and pressures that are out there more than older adults.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, and I think the lack of connection is a big thing. I just had a get together where I was with a lot of youth, and one of the questions I asked them was, if you could change one thing about growing up in 2023, what would it be? And the majority of the responses were, I wish that the social media wasn't as prevalent. I wish that we had more connection one-on-one. That's our youth saying that. So I just thought that's really important that we listen to that. I think the human-to-human connection is a big problem with depression.
Yeah, and we've talked about that in the past on this show, but I want to talk about that whole connection. So you tell us what you do when it comes to physical activity.
So I'm the director of a program called Premier Fit, which is under the Premier Health and Wellness. And so my program is in charge of the fitness, nutrition, and mindset part. So we do classes. Our goal is to help people feel truly empowered, feel better about their life and who they are, have all the tools to get over this depression by eating clean, by moving their body, by changing their mindset, being able to